Hello and welcome to Missouri State University's virtual open house for our Master's of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics program with our combined dietetic internship. My name is Hillary Roberts, Program Director for our Master's program, and we also do have our standalone dietetic internship. So I direct both of those programs. So Missouri State University is located in Springfield, Missouri, here in the Ozarks. We have a very vibrant campus. There's always lots going on campus. Our new, the Camp Peter building that Dietetics is housed within was just remodeled. We have lots of new study areas for students. Missouri State has a mission in public affairs. So public affairs mission focuses on community engagement, cultural competency, and ethical leadership. And our program very much aligns with all three of those. Looking at community engagement, a large component of our program is giving back to the community in some way, shape, or form. And that's many times within your 5-week individualized rotation. With that, we have an emphasis in public affairs or rural health. So in that 5-week rotation, you have an opportunity to find a community need and then fulfill that gap that you have found within the community in that rotation. Many times you end up completing some type of health education project for a preceptor that was that mentored you in the beginning of the program. What else about Missouri State? Well, let me just kind of continue on. Here we go. A little more about Missouri State. So you have the rec center here on the right, kind of the oblong shaped building. You have the library, although you won't be spending much time in the library, you're more than likely to be spending a lot of time online finding journal articles. And those pictures there of the library. We have the fountains there and then the library itself. Also here at Missouri State, we have the MSU Care Clinic, which is a partnership between Missouri State and Missouri State and Mercy Hospital Systems, where we serve uninsured low-income adult patients. We have a preceptor there who is clinical instructor here within nutrition and dietetics, as well as a graduate assistant who is many times a dietitian who is also seeing clients there. So you would have a couple rotations at MSU Care Clinic with the either the clinical instructor or a graduate assistant being your preceptor. And you'd be providing nutrition counseling, primarily focusing on your motivational interviewing skills for those patients. And then also just to tell you a little bit more about Springfield, Missouri, located here in Southwest Missouri in the Ozarks. I looked up the other day, believe it or not, we have over 800 restaurants, over 800. For myself, I love a couple of the local Indian restaurants. I love Indian food. Also, Andy's Frozen Custard is located here in Springfield, Missouri. There's one right up the road now. I'm almost walking distance from campus, so we can go get some really yummy custard when you're really stressed and needing something to take your mind off. Not really, but it is there for you to celebrate in times of celebration. Otherwise, here in Springfield, we have lots of hiking and biking trails. We have a vibrant downtown area with lots of coffee shops and shopping. We have a couple large farmers markets as well. So there is lots to do and keep you busy here in Springfield, and majority of the students end up living here in Springfield, even though we have several rotations in our program in the Joplin area, which is just west of town. Now, many times students live here and have a strong support system with one another. So back to our mission statement. We are here to prepare competent dietitians who are citizen scholars, expertise in public affairs or rural health, who will meet the need of dietetic practitioners across the nation. So if you look at the public affairs or rural health, those are our two areas of concentration. So you'll create a 5-week individualized rotation in one of those areas. With public affairs, think of more, you're the face of dietetics. You are providing media interviews, or maybe you're going to create podcasts. You do that in different ways, kind of just depending upon the need in the community and access to technology. Also, Within public affairs, think policy and changing policy and working on policy. Rural health, students are usually going to be in a rural community just outside Springfield itself. And again, fulfilling a need within that community. A lot of times there's not a lot of services for nutrition and dietetics for the community. So maybe you're providing some free classes on diabetes, or maybe you're working at a local school district providing some nutrition education to employees for employee wellness. So these rotations are going to look very different depending on the student and their interest. And that year we were able to go to FNCE. That's all of us there at FNCE with the president. Our program goals, we have two program goals. One, to make sure you are competent for practice as dietitians. And then our second one, for you to demonstrate lifelong learning skills to enhance the dietetic profession and demonstrate leadership in the field of dietetics. So some of our values of our program are leadership, as well as communication, collaboration, which is teamwork, and authenticity. Sorry, had a moment. So we are looking in building leaders, and we do that through student-centered learning, in helping you to recognize your strengths and then utilize and capitalize on your strengths, build on those strengths throughout the program. So we have you take a Clifton Strengths test to see, do you have strong relationship building skills, or maybe you're more of you're much of a strategic thinker, or maybe you're really good influencer. And which one of those areas you end up being may end up helping you decide what you want to do within the field. If you're a strong influencer, then perhaps you go more into public policy. If you're relationship building skills, then you might do more work in the community. So it's really going to differ. But we have student-centered focus, and lifting you up versus breaking you down is what we want to do. We want to increase your self-efficacy. So if something is not going well, that you're not meeting a competency to be competent for practice, usually what happens is you and I meet and we create an action plan together. I'm not going to sit there and ask you, why did you do this? What could you do wrong? But tell me what happens. Because usually it's not about that you don't want to do well. It's that you have other things, life events happening that are taking you your mind off of the program, and you weren't able to give 100% during that week, that 2 weeks. So we talk things out and figure out an action plan together. And then lifelong learning is important. So we're trying to instill, if you don't already have a love for learning, trying to instill a love for learning. That's learning knowledge as well as learning new skills. And again, we do that through motivation. I use a lot of motivational interviewing as program director when speaking with you guys. So again, we're located here in Springfield, Missouri. Our master's program is a 2-year program. If you already have earned a graduate degree, then we do have the 9-month standalone program. And I'm happy to meet with you, or any of you one-on-one, to talk about any of this. But I'm going to try to focus more on the master's program. This is a new switch for me. We have our concentration areas: rural health, public affairs. And then the master's emphasis, you have your core classes, and then you'll select a track: population health track or health promotion. We may end up having a 3rd track, but I don't know enough right now to be able to tell you if that's going to happen next fall. On our website, you're not going to see the health promotion track yet, but we are doing the paperwork to get that implemented, and hopefully that will be approved this February and then ready to implement next fall 2023. Also, how our program is set up is you complete all the dietetic internship practicum in year 1. So you're at your practicum sites anywhere from 32 to 40 hours a week, right? So there's not time for a graduate assistant position or a teaching assistant position, or even a full-time job, because you're in those practicums 32 to 40 hours a week, and you're taking some didactic classes on top of that. But year 2 is you're finishing out the master's program. You're completing the remaining 24 hours. Okay, so 12 hours each semester of that 40 hour credit, that 40 credit hour program. So you are eligible to be a graduate assistant or a teaching assistant on Missouri State campus. There are several positions. I can't guarantee if you want a position, you're going to get it, but we're going to try. I'm going to advocate for you and do my due diligence in finding positions. You're going to self-advocate, and you're also going to do your due diligence in finding positions, and we're going to try to get you placed. Assistantships at Missouri State campus pay for all of your graduate tuition for year 2, which ends up being around 24 credit hours, would be paid for of our 40 credit hour degree program. And you also get a monthly stipend that's just over $1,000. So it's a 9-month position, and you're getting a monthly stipend from August to May. Or perhaps you choose to work full-time or part-time during year 2, and that works great as well. So this year, half of the students are working, half the students are in an assistant position. That's just how it worked out. Those that are working wanted to work, those that got an assistant position wanted to get it. But like I said, moving forward, we will just do our best to find work, which tends to be a lot of work in this area for dietitians, or upcoming close to be dietitians, right? You have your program. So we have a lot of jobs in the area, or we can try to find an assistantship on campus. Our program calendar. So orientation is in August, and that's a 2-week orientation, getting you ready, getting you prepared, filling any gaps in knowledge so you feel ready to go day 1 of your MNT1 rotation at a rural hospital. Also during orientation, you're doing a lot of, you're collaborating with the other grad students in our program. You're building teamwork skills, you're building support systems, you're meeting preceptors, you're providing presentations to preceptors. So again, we do have a strong focus on communication. I really enjoy working with you all. I enjoy working with the graduate students and the undergraduate students as well, very much. So I'm very hands-on. And that is, many students have identified our faculty and preceptors as a strength in our program because we are hands-on and we do want to get to know you. So if you're the person who's looking for a support system, you're going to, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to find that here. We do our very best in trying to provide you with the support that you need to succeed in your program. And we also are all about progression and not perfection. So all of you would start out at similar spots on day 1. Different strengths. Some are stronger in clinical, some are stronger in metabolism, others are stronger in food service, etc. And so, but you're going to build up on those knowledge skills from where you begin to where you finish the program. And the same goes for leadership and communication skills. Some of you may be more introverted. That's just fine. I identify as an introverted person. So you start with where you are, and then when needed, when the communication skills need to come out, you're able to have the self-efficacy and motivation in yourself that you're going to be able to rise to that challenge when it comes. All right. MNT1 is at a rural hospital, usually placed one-on-one with a preceptor. It's a 6-week rotation. Population health nutrition is our community rotation. You're at 5 to 6 different sites. So you're all 5 to 6 different sites, 1 week to 2 weeks at a time for 6 weeks. So again, that's why relationship building communication is key in this program. Food service management is a 5-week program, and you're at 2 different sites for that. Intersession, think of it as a second orientation. You're coming to campus again for a full week, and we're getting you ready for MNT2. So it's a strong focus on your clinical knowledge and skills. We have a simulation lab on campus that you would be spending some time there. Then MNT2 is at a regional hospital. It's an 8-week rotation. Individualized area of concentration, that's what we call your PAC, practicum in area of concentration. Rural health or public affairs, a 5-week rotation that you design, and I'm here to help you have contact, meet to find contacts, to just help you design that as well. And then your capstone week or review week is your final week of the program. That's here on campus, and we're providing you with a lot of resources to study for the RD exam. So it's a strong focus for that. I always joke that I lock you in a room and you are studying for the exam, listening to podcasts and online virtual study workshops that week. And the way I kind of do lock you in the room, but you're in there studying together that week. All right. In the first semester of the program, when you're completing your practicums, at that time, you're also going to be taking 3 1-credit hour, primarily online classes. Okay, these two, should say they meet either via Zoom, face-to-face with a Zoom option, or online. So our advanced medical nutrition therapy class is a face-to-face class on Monday evenings from 4 to 6 p.m. But if you're placed, let's say at, let's just say you're placed at an area that's over an hour from campus, an hour and a half from campus, then you'll have a Zoom option to Zoom in. But if you're here in Springfield or you're within 30, 45 minutes away, if at all possible, we'll have you drive in for class, because there's a lot of benefits of meeting face-to-face. One, for you just seeing the other students in the program and having that support. Advanced population health, that class is all online. Advanced food service management meets via Zoom. So you'd have these 3 classes in that first semester. And not a lot of quizzes and exams, primarily focused on active learning, case studies, group discussion, and presentations. We try to have fun. Missouri State, it's a challenging program. It is a challenging program, but we really do try to have fun as we go through that. Okay, our combined program, our combined MSDI. So it's a Master of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics is the name of the degree you would earn. And then at the same time, you'd also be completing the Dietetic Internship Certificate Program. So the 16 hours in the Dietetic Internship is part of the 40 hours in the MS program. Okay, that's part of that. In the MS program, you have 2 tracks, population health and health promotion. Core classes that everyone takes is the 16 hours in the Dietetic Internship practicums, that in the 16 hours there. And then there's 4 1-credit hour advanced DTN classes. So that's your advanced M&T, advanced food service, advanced population health nutrition, and advanced counseling. We'll take a nutrition counseling class. Then we're going to have a leadership class, DTN leadership class. You take your final semester, and the focus on that class is going to be studying for the RD exam. Since we're front loading the internship, where you're applying all your knowledge and skills, and the second year is mainly didactic work, we want to be sure to bring to the forefront, to your mind, all of your items that are going to be on the RD exam. So a lot of that class is going to be focused on RD exam prep, or some of it. I shouldn't say a lot, but some. Everyone will take a research methods class, and everyone will take a statistics class, and then everyone will either choose the non-thesis practicum or the thesis practicum. If you take the thesis practicum, that's where the extra credit hour comes from. In the thesis, it would require a 5th semester. Okay? So it would be 2.5 years versus 2 years for the thesis option. And you would be in 41 credit hours. The non-thesis option is a 3 credit hour spanned over 2 semesters. And that is the 40 hours option. Now, if we jump into the 2 tracks, the population health track, you will take clinical epidemiology, health behavior, principles and skills of public health administration, and health services organization. So those are the 4 classes specific to that track that you would take. Those are identified on our currently on our websites. Okay, we currently have this track. And then the health promotion track is the track we're adding that is not on our website. And hopefully we'll, assuming it gets approved by Missouri State, which I anticipate it will, I have nothing to think that it won't. It would be on our website this summer at the latest. So for this, you're taking programming approaches in wellness and health promotion class, a health promotion planning class, and then you choose from 2 of the following classes. Right? So maybe you want to learn more on motivational interviewing. So perhaps you take that, and then you want to learn more about health risks. So health risk identification and management. And something too, if you choose the health promotion track, you'll also earn what's called a certificate in health programming. So you'd have your master's and you'd earn a certificate in health programming, and you'd also earn a certificate in the dietetic internship. I'm going to go back to the population health track. You also earn what's called the graduate certificate, the public health core graduate certificate. You do not earn your MPH. You don't earn a master's in public health with this track. You do earn what's called a certificate, public health core graduate certificate. Long term, we might have a dual degree in MS and D MPH here at Missouri State, but not right now. Right now, we're focusing on adding our tracks. Program cost, we are very affordable. We're very affordable. So for our master's program and looking at 40 credit hours, in-state tuition is $333 credit hour. So that comes to just over $13,000. If you had a graduate assistantship for year 2, then it's going to be 24 credit hours less. Okay, could do the math really fast for you. So 40, let me subtract out 16. So I didn't do the math really quickly for you, but it's going to save you quite a bit of money. Sorry, I couldn't do the math real quickly for you, but we can meet one-on-one and I can help you with the math. But in-state, $13,320, right? If you're out of state, or out-of-state credit hour, or out-of-state tuition depends on if it's an online class or a seated or blended class, okay? Our online classes are $333, just as an in-state tuition. But our blended and seated classes are $665 per credit hour. Of the second year, you're taking 24 credit hours, year 2, 12 of those are online and 12 of those are seated. Now, as time goes on, more of our seated classes are getting an online option. So perhaps that 21, it's close to 22,000. Perhaps that will be lowered. But right now I want to give you like the maximum amount of tuition that you would expect next year. Now, of course, this is this year's tuition rates. Tuition will probably slightly increase for the 2023-2024 year, but I can't tell you what those are. Won't know what those are until the summer, but these are our current tuition rates. Also for out-of-state residents, you may be eligible for the Midwest Student Exchange Program. That is for the DI and for the MS&D. So the standalone DI, 16 credit hours, as well as for the 2-year master's, if you're from Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, on down to Wisconsin. If you're from one of those states, and I think the GPA is a 3.25 or higher, to go to our financial aid page, you'd have a full waiver for out-of-state fees. Okay. We also have what's called the Missouri Outreach Graduate Opportunity Scholarship, also commonly known, we call it the MOGO Scholarship. That's for any out-of-state student. It is not a full waiver of out-of-state fees, but it does reduce your tuition significantly. You can learn more at our website. Go to Financial Aid Graduate Scholarships. I'm also happy to Zoom with you one-on-one to talk it out. And then just once again, in the master's program, you can apply for assistantships or a job year 2. And you are a full-time student because you're enrolled in a minimum of 9 credit hours each semester, the full 2 years of the program. Now, the dietetic internship, since it's a 16-hour credit hour program, we're actually reducing its hours from 18 to 16. One of those semesters you're not full-time, but if you needed to be full-time, we could easily find a graduate course for you to take that would be doable workload-wise. Look at our practicums in the fall. You're at a rural hospital, diabetes clinic, all your population health practicums, food service. Spring, you go to your regional hospital, dialysis clinic, metabolic support in your area of concentration. We have a sim lab on campus that you'll be at. We have media training and farm tours. We go to a pediatric workshop at Children's Mercy Hospital in Kansas City. And then we try to go to our Moan or FNCE or some type of conference each year. All right, additional items. We accept 9 to 10 students in the spring match only. We follow the academic year, but not the academic calendar for the practicums. Right, so for the practicums, you have a full week off for fall break, a full week off for Thanksgiving, approximately 2 weeks off for holiday, and then you get spring break off. Now, the academic calendar is going to look a little bit different. For example, you don't have classes on Labor Day, But for the practicums, if your preceptors are working on Labor Day, then you'd be there with your preceptor on Labor Day. This is just an example of some of our sites. We are primarily at Mercy Hospital Systems and Freeman Hospital Systems. Their driving is required in this program. We have a lot of sites in Joplin area. So that's about an hour west of town. So the clinical coordinator and I, especially the clinical coordinator, she does her due diligence in helping to have everyone do some of the driving and not just specific people do all the driving, but we're divvying that driving up. This year, we're able to coordinate it so students can carpool together, or some students had temporary housing. So they had a friend who lived in Joplin, then we placed them at some sites there. We do a survey over the summer to ask about housing in the area and your preferred rotations, your preferred interests in nutrition and dietetics, and we try to accommodate that as much as possible. Other clinical sites, Citizens Memorial in Bolivar, that's 30 miles north, Cox Monetz, Ozarks Healthcare in West Plains, we have housing there. Children's Mercy Hospital lets us have 2 students can be there for 1 week each. And again, driving is necessary in our program to get to those rural locations. Rotation sites for population health and nutrition, Arc of the Ozarks in Joplin, Southwest Missouri AHEC here in town, providing nutrition education to primarily high school students, getting them interested in healthcare professions and healthcare careers. Jordan Valley Community Health Center is a clinic here in town. First Form is a business in St. Louis, Missouri. So if you had housing in St. Louis, you might have go over to First Form. Hy-Vee grocery store here in town with retail. MSU Athletics, so we get a little bit exposure to sports nutrition. Private practice, majority of our private practice sites have a focus on HAES, health at every size, so you get exposure there. We work at the MU Extension office and then Springfield and Joplin WIC. There are others, and these do differ throughout depending on the year and depending on what preceptors are available. So for example, this year we have a couple interns with the employee wellness dietitians at Bass Pro Shops and Prime Trucking. But we don't always have that, it just depends on preceptor availability. Looking at food service, you will be exposed, you'll be at a rural hospital for a couple of weeks, and then a large facility food service. And then we also work with public schools and Head Start. So we try to get everybody with a smaller food service operation and then a large food service operation to be exposed to both. 5-week rotation. And then our PAC rotation, again, we have a focus on rural health, public affairs. Feel free to pause here if you want to learn more about those, but I want to keep on moving. You will learn about grant writing in actually both of these too. Then, so our area of concentration, 5 weeks. These are some past projects. So looking at rural health, one student went to El Salvador, so that's a site that in the past we have gone to in the optional international experience. Joplin WIC and Head Start, someone did a SNAP cost comparison project and menu planning, providing different classes. Neosho School District, we've done some free diabetes wellness programs. You cannot provide M&T, right? You can't provide M&T. You could work with a preceptor and provide M&T if the preceptor is there, but otherwise you can't provide M&T, but you can provide general nutrition information on diabetes. A student developed and taught a food preservation class 1 year to rural and urban communities. So this looks different every year. And that was Brenna in El Salvador. And then our PAC projects and public affairs, again, it's going to look very different. Last year, Lexington, she didn't work with a theater and dance department here on campus. She worked with the Foster Rec Center and provided one-on-one nutrition counseling to faculty, staff, and students, and did a fabulous job. Fabulous. She had an Instagram page, was making lots of Instagram posts. Sorry, that should be counseling. Saw a typo. This is Sam. She actually traveled to Barcelona, Spain. She did the international experience this past summer and worked with Cessnut Nutrition, which provides food safety classes. So she worked over there making videos in English. So again, we do have study away opportunities. It's an optional study away. And with the 2-year masters, I would see this happening this summer in between year 1 and year 2. We work with ISA, International Study Away, And you have the option to travel abroad to Australia, New Zealand, or Spain for around 8 weeks. This was Emma. She went to New Zealand several years ago. Sam just got back from Spain, end of July. They were both more than happy to talk to you about their experience. I just heard last week that Missouri State, the ISA, is partnering with another organization called Teen. So I do need to update the website. This is going to look a little bit different, but I hope not drastically different. We will still have this opportunity. It just may look a little bit different come summer 2024. Okay, admission requirements. We have a Zoom interview. Okay, so we'll Zoom with everybody. We'll have the committee there, have a personal statement, your work and volunteer dietetics related experience, 3 letters of recommendation, a GPA of 3.0 or higher. So grades are not our focus. It's your passion. It's what you want out of a program. We're looking if you align with our values. We're looking very strongly if you're aligning with our values of communication, leadership, and collaboration, and authenticity. We want to know what drives you, what motivates you in looking at aligning with our program. How to apply, we'll be using DICAS and D&D Digital. I know DICAS is moving to a new interface, right? A new platform, so you'll find us there. We currently do not have a program fee, like an application. We currently don't have a program fee or an application to apply to Missouri State's grad college. Our graduate college actually waives that fee because you've paid the DICAS fee. So there's no fee to apply here. So that's gracious that they have waived that. And then you apply to our graduate college after you're accepted into the master's program for 9-month or standalone internship. You do pay a $500 placeholder fee. And then as long that will be due, your master's in April, that's due in May. As long as you're still in the program come September 1st of the following year, then that $500 will go into your student account. I'm actually doing that tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. All the students are still in the program, and that $500 will go back to the student accounts. All right, so we have a very strong first-year pass rate, 98.4% since we began in 2012. So 10 years, and we're going strong. And all of our interns have found employment within 12 months of graduation. Majority find employment within 3 months if they're looking. Some students wait until they pass the exam and then start looking for employment, and the majority of them are finding employment within 6 months. I have lots of pictures of our past graduates. I'm just proud of them. There's Marigold. She was our public affairs intern of the year, spring 2022. And there's one of our past classes. We were celebrating at Bass Pro Convention Center, our end of the year celebration. I think that was in spring 2019. Okay, so we value, again, leadership, communication, collaboration, authenticity. And I really like this picture because you're looking at our group of students, our 2021, 22 group, and you have the top right where this is their first, that might have been their first day, first or second day in orientation. We're at the Missouri State Fountains. Some are looking quite nervous. We're excited. But then we have the big one, and this is the very last day of the program. And all the personalities have shown through. We're very excited to have completed the program. So again, we try challenging, but we really try to have a lot of fun during the way. Support one another. We're all about supporting the group versus just getting yourself through the program and improving yourself. How can we improve everyone within the program, including myself? I learn a lot from you. Okay. I always include a picture. So this is my youngest daughter. A few months ago now, she's now 1.5 years. This is one of her first meals. Like I said, like to have fun. So feel free to email me at hroberts@MissouriState.edu. I'm more than happy to Zoom with you or meet in person to talk more about our program. And you may have 2 program websites. The first one, that's our the DI website, just for the internship. And the second one is the combined master's program. That everything on the website, not everything, some of the information is not going to align with the open house because we're making some changes. But this is the changes we're going to be making for our 2023, 2020, for our 2023 incoming students. Okay. I wish you all much luck as you navigate this process. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to meet with you. Thank you.